I'll call the meeting to order. Karen, will you call the roll?
Commissioner Alexander,
Present.
Commissioner Campbell,
Here.
Commissioner DeBrava,
Here.
Chairman Ellis,
Here?
Commissioner Hyder,
Here.
Commissioner Mann,
Here.
Commissioner Pennell.
Here.
Thank you.
Next item, approval of the agenda. Does anyone have changes on the agenda that need to be made? If not, make a motion.
Motion to approve.
I have a motion to approve the agenda as written. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Thank you. Call the roll, please.
Commissioner Pennell,
Here.
Commissioner Mann,
Aye.
Commissioner Hyder,
Aye.
Commissioner DeBrava,
Aye.
Commissioner Campbell,
Aye.
Commissioner Alexander,
Aye.
and Chairman Ellis.
Aye.
Thank you.
Let's move to the minutes of, the draft minutes of the 7/11/22 Planning and Zoning Commission meeting. If you've had an opportunity to look at it, please, somebody look at it, and if there's any changes we need to make, let's make them. Or make a motion.
Motion to approve.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, call the roll, please.
Chairman Ellis,
Aye.
Commissioner Hyder,
Aye.
Commissioner DeBrava,
Aye.
Commissioner Campbell,
Aye.
Commissioner Mann,
Aye.
Commissioner Pennell,
Aye.
Commissioner Alexander.
Aye.
Thank you.
We move now, we have two public hearings. Karen, do you have the procedures that you can read? Oh,
Yes,
okay.
Patrick will be taking care of it
Patrick,
tonight.
sorry.
All right, the Planning and Zoning Commission holds public hearings as required by law and provides recommendations to City Council on matters relating to land use planning, zoning, and the subdivision of land. Any person who has interest in the subject matter of a hearing will have the opportunity to provide testimony and present evidence to the Commission during the public hearing. Speakers are required to conduct themselves in an orderly and respectful manner. Disruptive behavior, including applause, yelling, speaking out of turn, or other inappropriate behaviors will not be tolerated. Additionally, the following applies to any person addressing the Commission. Speakers are limited to 5 minutes unless authorized additional time by the chairperson. Speakers must speak at the podium unless previous arrangements have been made by the chairperson. Speakers must legibly print their name and address on the sign-in sheet at the podium prior to speaking. Speakers must begin by stating their name and address. Speakers should speak clearly and into the microphone. The chairperson will announce the subject of the hearing, following by a report from staff. The chairperson will then open the public hearing to the applicant, followed by those in favor of the application and those opposed to the application. The chairperson will close the public hearing. During this time, the commission will discuss amongst themselves. The public may not address the commission after close of the public hearing unless requested by the chairperson. The Planning and Zoning Commission shall base their recommendation and/or decision on information and evidence presented during the public hearing. This decision, if required by the application, will be forwarded in writing to City Council for further consideration.
Thank you. Like I said, we have two hearings, so we'll start with the first. That's SU 22-004, public hearing and possible vote to recommend the approval of an application for a special use permit by Timberline Land Company, LLC, for a boat, vehicle, or self-storage facility at the 3400 block of East US Highway 60. Karen? Patrick? I should look to see who has the microphone. Thank you.
Timberline Land Co. LLC has applied for a special use permit to operate a boat, vehicle, and self-storage facility on the property located at the 3400 block of East US Highway 60. The subject property of this application is comprised of approximately 138 acres of land and is zoned general commercial. The lot is currently vacant. The property is surrounded by Fieldstone Plan Development District to the south, heavy manufacturing across US Highway 60 to the north and west, and Wilson's Valley Plan Development District across South Farm Road 101. The applicant is requesting a special use permit to allow for the development and operation of a self-storage facility of approximately 1,246 square feet in total. The application, were it to be approved, would allow for a future new commercial building permit application in line with the proposed development plan. The city's special use permit ordinance, section 405.670, authorizes, upon approval of the city council, uses which are otherwise prohibited by the subject zoning district, provided appropriate conditions and safeguards which may be imposed to protect the public welfare and to conserve and protect the condition and value of property in the neighborhood. Special use permits are required by section 405.670 for boat, vehicle, and self-storage facilities. In addition, the operator of the site will be required to have a valid business license on file with the city prior to conducting business. This site currently has access to City of Republic water and sanitary sewer services from the property to the south. Determinations as to the exact placement of water and sewer infrastructure will be made during the review process for a new commercial building permit. The city's water and wastewater systems have the capacity to serve the site improvement. A stormwater report has been provided for the project. Development of the property will be required to meet the necessary improvements outlined in the report. This special use permit, if approved, would remain valid until a change in use or in the configuration of the use occurred. Changes in use or significant reconfiguration would void the special use permit. Furthermore, the applicant is required to abide by the various elements outlined in the submitted site plan, as well as any additional conditions that may be placed on the permit at the city council's request. Design review of site improvements would occur during the review phase of the building permit application process. For transportation, the property will be accessed from Farm Road 101. A traffic impact study was not required for the rezoning application, as the developer has indicated a use of low intensity. The traffic impact of the proposed use has been initially evaluated by the city engineer. The proposed use generates less trips than other permitted uses within the general commercial zoning district. The subject parcel does not contain a special flood hazard or any sinkholes. Based on this, staff considers the proposed special use permit request for a storage facility in a general commercial zoning district located at 3400 block of East US Highway 60 to be generally consistent with the city's special use permit ordinance and able to be adequately served by the city's transportation network and the city's municipal facilities. The builds department's analysis is performed without the benefit of evidence and testimony of a public hearing and does not account for the discretionary authority of the city council to limit the placement and number of storage facilities in the city. Development of the subject parcel will require adherence to the city's adopted plans and ordinances. The next step in the process of development and of the subject parcel upon a favorable special use permit outcome will be the development, review, and approval of a commercial building permit.
Thank you. We'll first call for the applicant. If the applicant or the applicant's representative is here, please come forward and tell us what we need to hear.
Yes, Jacob Eiler with Crockett Engineering, 1000 West Nifong Boulevard, Columbia, Missouri, 65203. Basically, everything was just pretty well covered there. One thing I would like to add is to the south is the multifamily residential, and we are providing the required landscape screening, which would be basically, I think is it 4 or 6 foot tall landscaped hedge, basically. Other than that, I think that pretty much covers everything. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Okay? We may when we get to discussing it.
Okay.
We'll hear everyone first, and then we'll discuss it. Thank you. It's Mr. Meyer.
Eiler, E-I-L-E-R.
Is there anyone else that's in favor of the application that wishes to speak? Not seeing anyone running to the front. I'll take anyone that's opposed to the application. Appears to be an equally unfavorable request. Okay, I'm going to close the hearing.
Chairman, may I make one correction? In the report, it incorrectly lists the total square footage of the storage facility. Instead of 1246 in square feet, it is 18.5, so 18,500 square feet.
Okay. I sincerely doubt that the change in the square footage of this property will make anyone want to come up and speak, but if they do want to come and speak, we would be glad to hear you. All right, given that, we'll close this hearing and discuss. Anybody have questions or? Everybody satisfied? Will?
No questions.
Okay. Then I'll take a motion.
Motion to approve.
And I have a motion to recommend the approval of the application for a special use permit by Timberline Land Company LLC for a boat, vehicle, or self-storage facility at the 3400 block of East US Highway 60. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Thank you.
Commissioner Alexander,
Aye.
Commissioner Campbell,
Aye.
Commissioner Pennell,
Aye.
Commissioner Mann,
Aye.
Commissioner Hyder,
Aye.
Chairman Ellis,
Aye.
Commissioner DeBrava.
Aye.
Thank you.
All right, we move to the second hearing. PDD 22-005, public hearing and possible vote to recommend the approval of an application to change the zoning classification of approximately 10.23 acres located at 904-924 North Main Street from zero lot line residential R1Z to Trinity Republic Self-Storage Plan Development District PDD. Karen.
Thank you, Chairman. Republic Missouri Property LLC and Robert Trout have applied to change the zoning classification of approximately 10.23 acres located at 904 through 924 North Main Street from, again, zero lot line residential, which is R1Z, to Trinity Republic Self-Storage Plan Development District, PDD. The property subject to this rezoning application, again, is 10.23 acres, and it is comprised of 3 parcels of land as indicated in the teal on the map on your screen. The applicant is proposing the rezoning of this property to a planned development district to allow for a self-storage facility comprised of 7.37 acres and a perimeter queuing road for the Republic school system comprised of approximately 2.86 acres. The development plan also contains water, sanitary sewer, access, and stormwater detention to support the development. Specifically, the applicant's proposal includes the following elements. Lot number 1 is identified as the self-storage facility. Again, this is a total acreage of 7.37 acres. Permitted use within Lot 1 are approximately 650 self-storage units, which is approximately 130,000 square feet and an 800 square foot office area. Lot number 2 is identified as the Republic Schools Perimeter Road. This is totaling 2.86 acres, and the permitted uses are the Republic Schools vehicle queuing lane for the schools at the intersection of Main Street and West State Highway 174. The purpose of the Planned Development District regulations is to allow for various mixed-use, unconventional, or innovative arrangements of land and public facilities which would be difficult to develop under the conventional land use and development regulations. The PDD development elements and the plan have been analyzed by the Builds Department, and we are identifying these being in compliance with both ordinances. Consistency with the comprehensive plan. The comprehensive plan generally encourages the expansion of commercial development through proactive rezoning at appropriate land locations. These appropriate land locations are generally described throughout the plan with regard to the relationship of land at particular locations to infrastructure capable of supporting various intensities and densities of uses. Several goals identified in the comp plan and the land use plan are the following: coordination with infrastructure, support new development that is well connected to the existing community, and recognize infill opportunities for development, and also community support by utilizing partnerships to support development that places the city in a better position to serve residents. In particular, for this site, north of the referenced parcels, we have medium density single family residential. That was the area identified in yellow in the previous map. Currently on that parcel, there's one residential dwelling. Directly to the south, we have several Republic schools. To the east, we have medium density single family residential, or R1M. The land directly adjacent is a large area of floodplain, so it does and will remain undeveloped. And to the west, we have a small section of light industrial M1, and it does have duplexes and apartments in that particular location. The land uses permitted in the applicant's proposal are considered to be generally compatible with the surrounding properties. In reference to our ability to serve with water and sewer, the site is currently served by City of Republic Sanitary Sewer and Water Service, with existing points of connection to a house, and also there's a demolished house on the particular site. The development plan includes water and sewer service to the self-storage office building on North Main Street. It will also include a looped water main system providing fire hydrants for fire protection throughout the development itself. The self-storage building sewer service will be served by the existing sanitary sewer mains on Main Street. The effluent will travel from the development to the Evergreen lift station located to the north before traveling to the wastewater treatment facility to be treated. Both the water and wastewater systems do have capacity to serve the proposed development. In regards to the transportation, the intent of the development plan is to provide for two distinct uses, which will operate in conjunction with one another. Again, this being a self-storage facility on Lot 1 and a perimeter queuing road for the Republic school systems on Lot 2. Lot 1 and 2 will have separate points of access to North Main Street and no commingling of vehicles. The perimeter road will connect directly to the school's internal northern access drive with the sole purpose of providing queuing for vehicles dropping off and picking up children at the schools. The perimeter road's queuing space will reduce traffic backups on Highway 174 and Main Street, as well as the four-way intersection of these streets directly to the south. The development plan does contain an area designated for a stormwater basin designed to accommodate the stormwater generated by the development itself. The stormwater basin and all open space will be owned and maintained by the property owner. This particular parcel does not contain any area of special flood hazard area or floodplain, and it does not contain any identified sinkholes. All developments must include site design providing for sufficient emergency vehicle access as well as fire protection facilities. Additional elements of code compliance evaluated at the time of infrastructure design impacting the development of the subject property include, but are not limited to, the city's zoning regulations, adopted fire code, and adopted building code. Staff considers the proposed zoning amendment, rezoning to a planned development district, to be generally consistent with the goals and objectives of the comprehensive and land plans, generally consistent with the trend of development in the vicinity of the site, compatible with surrounding land uses and able to be served by municipal facilities. Specifically, the proposed development can be served by the city's water and sanitary sewer systems and the city's transportation network. Based upon this analysis, we are recommending approval, and I'd be happy to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you, Karen. Let's move to the applicant. Come forward and talk to us.
Yeah, good evening. My name's Ricky Haas with Olson, 550 East St. Louis, representing the developer. So Karen covered a lot of what I was going to cover. I think there's a lot going on this site, but I'll start with kind of the office building. It's at the southwest corner, kind of the bottom left. That is where the main folks that are using the self-storage facility are going to pull in, and then there's going to be a gate So there's a gate there, and then the whole property is fenced to control access for people going into the self-storage facility. So they can get into those couple parking spots at the office, but they have to have a code or be let in through the gate there. The detention basin is right in the center at the north end there. You can see that open space. That's because that's where the low point is. Just to the east or to the right of that, you can see a drive connection there. We're going to keep that gated. That will have a fire Knox box. That's just our second access required for fire. And then Karen hit on the utilities just fine. We'll loop a water main, and other than that, the only utilities we'll have go to the office building, and they're all right there off of Main Street. Surrounding zoning, R1M, so we will have a buffer. We'll have a 6-foot buffer with a type A landscape buffer as required on 3 sides of our site. We won't be doing one on the Main Street side just because it's more intense development on the other side of the street. Olson also did the traffic study for the school, so I'm able to answer questions if you guys have any on that. But I guess what I'll say is this loop road going around the site really is going to be a tremendous help for the traffic congestion. As you guys know, the traffic backs up down Main and then down 174. That whole queuing that happens every day will now happen on this perimeter street. The school has temporarily done a fix until construction can happen. They've done a temporary fix of offsetting the start times so that your pickup lines don't happen at the same time. And so that's kind of a temporary fix until we can find a solution. And hopefully this is the solution here. There's a lot of queuing space. So there's extra queuing space to the point where it allows the schools to expand or have more students at each of these schools, which is, I think, is another huge positive. Talked about so the self-storage facility itself will have a lot less traffic production. So we didn't do a traffic study. There won't be hardly any traffic created. So we're not really making the issue any worse that the school has. So it really makes sense for a low traffic type development like this to happen here. I think that's all I've got though, and I'd be happy to answer any questions you guys have.
If needed, we sure will ask.
All right.
Thank you. Is there anyone else that's in favor of this application that wishes to speak? Is there anyone opposed to the application that wishes to speak? We must all look mean up here today. But we do appreciate everybody that comes. I'm going to close the hearing and we'll go to our discussion.
Karen, you may be able to answer this. The loop road around there, will that be a private road?
Yes, it'll be owned and maintained as a separate parcel by the Republic School System. So it will not be a public street.
And what about on the north side of this new proposal?
The entire lot two
Okay.
will be owned and maintained by the school. And the differentiation with this is it is truly 2 separate parcels, one being the self-storage facility owned and maintained by that company, and then the school system assuming ownership and maintenance of that long queuing lane by the schools.
Thank you.
Other questions? Motions?
I make a motion to approve.
To recommend the approval. I have a motion to recommend the approval of the application to change the zoning classification of approximately 10.23 acres located at 904-924 North Main from 0 lot line residential R1Z to Trinity Republic Self-Storage Plan Development District, PDD.
Second.
Thank you. I have a motion and a second. Call the roll.
Commissioner Hyder,
Aye.
Commissioner Mann,
Aye.
Commissioner Pinnell,
Aye.
Chairman Ellis,
Aye.
Commissioner Alexander,
Aye.
Commissioner Campbell,
Aye.
Commissioner DeBrava.
Aye.
Thank you.
Very positive. Thank you very much. We have had only 10 or 20 discussions about that intersection. All right, next item of business is other business. Is there any other business? Thank you all so much for coming. Is there other business? Citizen participation? I call for citizen participation. Anybody else? Anybody that wants to participate can sure do it as a citizen. Moving on to the ever-popular Community Development Department update.
I actually do have an update for you this evening, so I'll make this quick. But I am definitely pleased to announce that Andrew Nelson was recently appointed to a new position with the city. So he's transitioning this last week to Deputy City Administrator from his position as Builds Administrator. So with that particular change, there's also some change in the Builds Department. I was recently appointed as the Builds Administrator, so I am assuming Andrew's previous role. And Garrett Bruckner, our engineering manager, will now be assuming the role of Assistant Builds Administrator. No other major changes are happening in the Builds Department itself, but I did want to make you aware of the administrative changes both on the city and Builds Department levels.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Okay, I would certainly ask for a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Thank you. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Nobody wants a second. Okay. Call the roll, please.
Commissioner Mann,
Aye.
Commissioner Pinnell,
Aye.
Commissioner Alexander,
Aye.
Commissioner DeBrava,
Aye.
Commissioner Campbell,
Aye.
Commissioner Hyder,
Aye.